Okay guys, so for today, what we're going to go over in this video really quickly is I'm going to review some key economic indicators with you all. Now, I understand that these are probably mostly review, especially when talking about GDP and the unemployment rate. I don't think we've talked as much about the inflation rate, but this will help you to kind of make sure we're all on the same page with this going forward, because this will be kind of what we use to work on our different things for this week, okay? So just as a reminder, there are three major economic indicators that economists study. You have the unemployment rate, you have the inflation rate, and you have GDP. And by the way, don't feel like you have to take notes on this for today. This is just a review that you're going to watch and then watch something else as well for your assignment today. Now, there are many other indicators that economists will study, but these are the three most common that you will see in news reports, and honestly, the three that kind of impact our lives the most. Okay, everything else just kind of tells us more specifically maybe what's going on here, or might give you, slightly different results if you look at it. There's happiness indexes and things like that, but these are the three major ones that you will pay attention to and that you will see in the news. Now, just as a reminder, the unemployment rate measures the percentage of people in the labor force who do not have a job but are currently seeking employment. All right. Now, here's a new term for you. I don't think I might have gone over it quickly, but just as a reminder for what it is, because it is important, the natural rate of unemployment is the, quote, normal amount of unemployment in an economy. All right. So if your unemployment rate is higher than the natural rate, then that's going to be an indicator that there's a recession going on in the economy. All right, meaning that there's too many people out of work, not enough people working and making money and taking care of stuff. Anything lower could be a signal of too hot of an economy. And what I mean by that is that if the economy is too hot, that's going to lead to really high inflation, right? Think of it like trying to cook with a super hot pan, okay? You're probably going to end up burning stuff, and it's not going to turn out right, okay? So it can be true that an economy can be doing too well if inflation is too high. Now, the unemployment rate is not a perfect measure because it misses out on people who either aren't looking for a job but would like to work. Might miss out on some teenagers who might be full-time students but need to work to pay for bills and things like that. It's just not a perfect measure, right? People could be disgruntled. You could have a part-time job because you can't find full-time work, and one will be working full-time, but you still count as having a job. So it's not perfect, but it kind of gives us a general idea. And economists do generally try and track all those other things as well to give them a better idea of that. All right. Now, the inflation rate measures the percentage change in prices from one year to the next. All right. So generally speaking, prices increase year over year, but it is possible for prices to actually go down, which is called deflation, which is actually worse than really high inflation because it's much harder to get out of, but we won't go into too much detail on that. The target inflation rate, okay, the central bank, in our case the Federal Reserve, which we're going to learn more about the Federal Reserve tomorrow, tries to set inflation at a certain point, okay? Each country is slightly different, but in the United States and most developed economies, we generally try and set the inflation rate about 2 or 3%, okay? If inflation exceeds that point, then prices are rising too quickly, okay? Meaning things are getting too expensive, people aren't getting enough raises to keep up with it, because that's the issue, right? If prices go up by 2% and your job pays you 2% more per year, everything stayed the same price effectively for you, okay? It's when prices start increasing at a faster rate than pay raises that things become a really big issue. Now, if inflation turns into deflation, that harms businesses with inventory because they actually ended up paying too much for their products, and encourages people to save too much, which is bad in a consumer-based economy, right? We want people to save, we want people to have a cushion, but if they end up saving way more of their money, then that's going to harm us economically speaking. All right. Now, gross domestic product measures the total value of all new final goods and services produced in an economy within a given year. Okay, we've talked about this already. You listened to something on it last week. But again, the important thing to remember: if GDP is increasing, then the economy is generally growing. We call that expansion. And if GDP is decreasing, then the economy is contracting. We call that a recession. Okay. Now, why spend time learning about these indicators? Well, the biggest thing is because it allows for the economists to check on the health of the economy, right? Knowing these and other indicators gives economists ideas on what to do to help the economy. So if we take a look at a recent example, right, with the coronavirus, the number of people filing for unemployment is a key indicator that, hey, there's something going on in the economy, right? We can kind of know that because we know people can't work because of, different things being closed or and everything else. But in general, right, knowing the sheer number of people who are out of work or who are trying to file for unemployment, gave policymakers, in this case our Congress or our congressional leaders, the knowledge that, hey, if they need to pass economic relief bills, they need to do it quickly, which they actually were able to pass that relatively quickly. Now, how that ends up getting rolled out and what types of programs exist, this definitely, you're going to see in the news there's going to be more debate and more discussion on what needs to come next and the effectiveness of the programs that they passed. But the fact that they were able to come together and pass something that quickly shows that they realize the extreme situation going on with the economy. Okay, and they were able to, because those numbers were way higher than anything that had ever been posted before or ever been measured before. It was like, hey, we really need to do something, and we need to do something quickly. Okay, so that's why. So like I said, don't feel like you have to take notes on any of this. This will be in the classroom for you. There's going to be one more video that you watch that goes along with this. It's probably going to be a little bit more interesting, a little bit better than what you just sat through. So have a good rest of your day.